Welcome into the Jam Happy Hour. I hope you are excited about a little bit of time of hanging out, enjoying some wines, maybe getting to know an artist a little bit better, or maybe her fans get to know us a little bit better. Cat Ridgeway's jumping in with us this evening here in the Jam Happy Hour. Thank you so much for being here with us. Oddly enough, this show kind of comes from like all over the place. We're actually kind of pretty close this evening, so it's like a little less global, but it's still all the same. Cheers to you. Thank you for being here
Heck
in
yeah.
the hour.
Cheers. Thanks for having me.
Cheers to you. Now I know you've got a lot going on because you're about to jump into tour. You're probably packing your whole life away. But what I love to do here in the Jam Happy Hour is kind of jump right in with a song that you think is going to set the tone for maybe somebody who's hearing you for the very first time, Cat Ridgeway. What song would that be?
I feel like that would have to be giving you up.
All right. Well, here you go. Giving you up in the Jam Happy Hour. It's Cat Ridgeway. Cheers.
You can sit in the passenger seat of my car anytime. You can sit in the back seat of my car anytime too. And I like the way you charge the air. I can taste it coming like summer rain. But I'm not giving you up anytime soon. 'Cause I know if I did, then I wouldn't have anybody to. No, I'm not giving you up anytime soon. No, I don't wanna have to try. You can say it and tell me, baby, now what's on your mind. Anytime you can tell me, Lord, it doesn't have to be this hard. No, not this time. No, I like the way you charge the air, but I'm not giving you up anytime soon. 'Cause I know if I did, then I wouldn't have anybody to. No, I'm not giving you up anytime soon. No, I don't wanna have to try. Give me one good reason. And was it just for show? No, no, I wanted a good reason. Oh, no, no, I want you to know now. I want you to know. No, no, I want you to know. No, I want you to know. No, no, I want you to know. Baby, oh, I want what you want. Oh, talk to me. I want everything you do. Baby, oh, I want what you want. Oh, talk to me. I want everything you do. But I'm not giving you up anytime soon. No. Oh, no. Oh, no, 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 no.
Cat Ridgeway here in the Jam Happy Hour with us this evening. Thank you for jumping in. I know you are joining us from Florida. For once, I'm in Florida, so it's like we've got East Coast and West Coast completely locked down, which means everybody's in the Jam Happy Hour right now. And the beauty of music is it's universal. It's like, where did you grow up?
I mean, I grew up here in Orlando.
Okay.
Yeah.
You are
We're
a
rare
true
breed.
Floridian. Yes, it is a very rare breed.
Yeah. Most people move here from like Ohio.
We'll off bar on that. But I always find it very interesting where people grow up and their musical influences. But Florida has always seemed like a hodgepodge of musical influences. Like, what do you remember growing up listening to that you were like, oh yeah, that's childhood right there?
Oh man. I mean, the obvious answer I think would be Jimmy Buffett. Margaritavilles are everywhere down here, and he is like the sound of Florida. But I mean, I also have very distinct memories of like Enrique Iglesias playing on the radio and stuff like that. So, I mean, pretty much anything that was on Mix 105.1 in the late 90s, early 2000s, that was what my mom always had on in the car, and that sounds like childhood to me.
In the late 80s or late 90s, did you say?
Late 90s.
All right. Well, I got that playlist fully in my head. We can have a ton of fun with that. Coming up in just a bit. But how much do you think those influences make their way into what you're creating today?
Like what I grew up hearing as a child, you mean?
Yeah. It's like, I grew up on Motown. I grew up on AC/DC and Kiss and Led Zeppelin. And, here I program Top 40 radio. It's like, it's bizarre, but I think it all kind of becomes an amalgamate of like musical influences. So when you think back to that stuff that you grew up with, does it have a place in what you're doing now?
I definitely think more so on my last record, yes. I grew up listening to a ton of the Beatles and Jackson 5 and a lot of Motown and stuff as well. And there was definitely a Motown thread, I think, in my last record. But the record I've been working on now, that it will be coming out next year. Oh man, I'm so excited. It's the best music I've ever made.
That's so cool.
Yeah, but I definitely think a lot more of my indie rock influence is shining through on that, that was what I got into as soon as I was able to find music on my own. I'm talking like 5th grade, so that would have made me like 12 years old or something.
Okay, so what was on your playlist, it wasn't MySpace back then, but what was what is your indie rock go-to?
Oh man, these days, I mean, I've been very steadily pumping Big Thief. I love Pine Grove. I love Bon Iver. I've been kind of getting into the Boy Genius, Phoebe Bridgers thing.
It's okay. We can call it the Taylor Swift effect. It's fun. She pulls us all in through the open door drug.
Hilarious. Yeah, I mean, I love really anything that's indie rock, even if it's adjacent. That's always been the love of my life. I think the first music I heard like that, where I was like, wow, what is this? This is great, was Modest Mouse, the record, Good News for People Who Like Bad News. And around that time was also Franz Ferdinand and, all of that, like very angular indie rock, like the Strokes, like I've always loved the Strokes.
All right. So we're angry and we're a little confused, and that's fine. The funny thing is, like, every one of those bands you just name checked, they're like coming back around right now, which is really kind of interesting.
It is, isn't it? The 90s are so back. I mean, none of those bands were like in the 90s, but like the 90s sound and aesthetic. Yeah, I think indie rock's really seeing a resurgence now, where it seems to be kind of where mainstream is headed right now, which is, I think, very interesting.
And you're discussing the new album, and you're discussing the influences. What can you tell us about the next project coming up?
It goes a lot harder.
Doesn't it always?
Yeah, I'm really excited though. I actually think this is the first time I truly sound like myself. When I listen back to demos and stuff that I made when I was in high school. This is the first time I've had a record that sounds like what I do when I lock myself in a room by myself. And there's something really special about that. One of the songs even has, it was based off of a demo that I had from high school. We took that whole track and just threw it into a new project and built the track around this stuff that I had recorded in high school. So I'm singing with myself from 10 years ago.
Okay, that's wild.
It is pretty wild, and it's just like such a weird, like very poetic thing.
But I would also have to think it's probably almost like therapy too, though. Like
this record has bent my head in half.
Like you get to commune with yourself from then and everything that you've learned, and Lord knows we've all grown in the last 3 years. Like that's got to be pretty interesting. If you guys aren't following Cat already on socials or in your playlist, Cat Ridgeway Music is the link. And if you are enjoying the music tonight, following along on all your favorite playlists is the biggest and best thing that you can do, as well as following along with Jam Sellers. We have our own playlist in the iHeartRadio app that you can enjoy as well. And all of these interviews are there. But talking about the new album, can you play anything from the new album?
For sure.
Oh, okay. Well, then, all right. We've got a front seat then. What would you like to play for us next here in the Gem Happy Hour, Cat Ridgeway?
Well, I'll bring you down to lift you back up.
As is life.
Yeah, right? This was actually the song that got me back in the studio, where I was like, okay, I think I have a project that needs to happen now. Mm-hmm. The song's called Sprinter, and it was written as an homage to a roommate of mine who lost her battle to mental health. And that was really something I had to process, and until I had lockdown to sit and think about it, I feel like it kind of just got stuck on a feedback loop in my head, you know? And
right. Yeah.
This song was kind of a turning point for me, and this is definitely like kind of more of a punk feeling thing. So imagine a lot of like thrashy drums, you know?
Well, and I feel like she would love that.
She totally would. She totally would.
Your Sprinter, Cat Ridgeway in the Gem Happy Hour. Take it away.
Later silence behind on your rent. Text to your friends, be there in a minute. Dishes piled up high. Dry clothes still on the line. Still got that damn check engine light. Out of groceries, but it's fine. Never made up the bed out in public with wet hair on your head. But then you only had shots when you were out at the bar, and you had up was sitting in the backseat of your car. You were a track star, a sprinter you never ran far. Hey, hey. Nail polish outgrown, unreturned calls from home. Meeting postponed in your own time zone. Too many emails unread. That check engine light still burning red. Shots on shots in the back of the bar, and the uppers sitting in the back seat of your car. You were a track star, a sprinter you never ran far. Make up for the month that dragged on in a couple days, in a clouded haze. Stop and go, then the red lights run, pedal through the floor, engine blows and roars. You might be gone now, but you never left this house. wish I had reached in. Used to move so slow. I guess only God would know why you rushed the end of your life, why you couldn't wait to die. And now everyone's wondering why they never noticed the check engine light.
That is a really good, I don't want to say analogy, but like the whole check engine light thing. Like,
Yeah, thank
it's
you.
like, hold on a second. Like everybody's got that check engine light, but we're so good at putting the black tape over it.
Right?
that,
Yeah, you just keep driving.
You just keep. I literally was at a dealership today, and I was like, "This is a waste of my time," but
Mhm.
it's actually not. And it's a great checkpoint because this is Global Mental Health Awareness Week. Yesterday was Mental Health Awareness Day. If we are not all going through it, we all know someone who is going through it, and music is a big part of helping us feel connected. And Cat Ridgeway, when you are having your worst day, you might know the answer already, but when you're having your worst day, who do you put on to always turn it around musically? What can you always put on and turn up and instantly feel better?
That's hard, actually.
Really?
Yeah. I mean,
It's become a coping mechanism around here. So
yeah, I don't know, because usually I feel like on those days I turn to the guitar itself, so I don't really listen as much as I write.
You play your own music.
Yeah, but I mean, I do find, like, I mean, Pine Grove is just one of my favorite bands, and anytime I go back to Cardinal, that record just makes me very happy. It feels like autumnal, but in the way where it's like a crisp autumn day where the sun is super bright and the sky is completely clear. Like, that's the kind of vibe. You know what I mean? Like, it's not like sad autumn.
That thing we don't get here in Florida.
Yeah, right? We get like 2 days in December. Yeah, it's great.
They're awesome. If you wake up at 6 a.m., run outside because that's it right there. You had mentioned that this new album coming up, is it named? Does it have a release date? Like, what is the plan? Or is it just kind of like, you know what, it's coming and I'm super excited about it?
Pretty much the latter. I was hoping that we were going to have the first single come out as early as December earlier this year, but
that's
nope.
No.
That is definitely not happening, I don't think. The record's just taken a good bit more time to make than I think any of us were expecting. But, you know, I've learned so much in the making of this album that it feels like it's only right. It needs to say what it needs to say, and I'm just giving it the space to grow into what it wants to become. And with that being said, I do think we could probably expect it in the first half of next year, because we're almost done recording now, but it's just, we thought we were going to be done, 4 months ago or so. So here we are.
You said that it's more of a reflection of your real self versus previous albums. And you've been putting out music. This is pre-pandemic, like for since like 2015.
Yeah.
You've been cranking out music. So it's not like it's a new thing to you, but why did it change so much between previous albums and this album? What do you think is the difference?
I think it's a double-edged sword getting into any sort of industry as a child, really, because I started playing music when I was so young. And when you are as young as you are, you value things like being coachable and learning from people who know more than you. And I still do very much. But there were times when I think I didn't stick to my guns as much as I probably should have in favor of people I was working with, because I thought that I had something to learn. And I did. Don't get me wrong. It's all a growing process. Like 100%. Every record should be something, but I definitely think I have a lot more conviction in my own ideas and what I want the the sound to sound like now, and I've learned a lot more about recording itself, so I know how to achieve what I want it to sound like much better than I used to.
You hit my happy button on that one, like recording and audio and acoustics and like all the things that you can actually do with it and how you can recreate it live versus just in studio. Like I encourage anyone who's listening that's into music, learn how to make it.
Yes.
Because there's so many layers. And there's I've mentioned it a few times in the show. Like Ariana Grande posted some random video forever ago when she was jumping on the remix for The Weeknd's Die For You. And she was like, oh, just in the studio. And she had like a 20 line like Pro Tools thing going. And I was like, that's not just that is a full on, like, you know what you're doing kind of a thing. And she played it down a little bit. And it made me kind of mad to be like, hey, why do you play that down? Like, that's a great skill to have. So for anybody that's, you know, wanting to be an artist, like learn your craft digitally as well as instrumentally, which you are very good at. You play all the things. Have you?
Thanks.
Did you start playing at a very early age, or was this something that came along later?
Yeah, I started when I was like, gosh, I think the first instrument I learned or tried to learn how to play was the drums, and I was probably about 8 years old at that point.
I'm sure your parents loved that.
Oh yeah, I did not stick with it long though. It's so funny. Okay, get this. So last year, I finally officially found out that I have ADHD, which I'm like, oh my God, of course. Like, this makes so much sense, right?
That's why you play 20 instruments.
Right. And like, but when I was little, we didn't know that yet. And so I would go to these drum classes, and my lessons, and my instructor was so patient and so nice. And he'd be like, did you even practice? And I'd be like, I mean, no, but I played it right. And then he's like, I mean, you did play it right, but like, that's not really the point. And then he told my mom, like, I think she's too young to do this. I don't think she has the focus and like bandwidth to do this yet. And so it got blamed on my age. And now I look back and I'm like,
like, actually, no, I was just advanced.
Yeah. But it's okay, because I found my way back to it. I still play drums, and I'll jump behind the kit and stuff. My brother is actually our drummer in the band, and he and I will switch places, and he'll jump on guitar and sing. And he's the reason I started doing this at all. He was starting to play guitar when I was in kindergarten, and I was like, oh, I want to be cool like that. So then I tried to learn the drums, but I tried to play guitar, but my hands were too small. And so I was like, okay, if my hands are too small for this, I can hold a drumstick for sure. And then that just didn't work out. Yeah, it didn't work out for a little while. And then I found my way back to guitar, and eventually actually the trumpet. The trumpet was the first instrument I truly learned how to play, like was classically trained on.
Let's checklist. Harmonica, trumpet, trombone, drums, piano, bass, guitar. What are you going to learn next? Because I can already feel it.
Yeah. I've definitely had my eye on saxophone.
Love it.
I would love to be able to throw some woodwind.
Very sexy instrument, by the way.
It totally is. But yeah. I don't know. I use a lot of horn section texture and stuff in my songwriting, and it would be cool to be able to just get an idea out into the box without having to call up 5 people. But shout out to my homie Christian Ryan. He played baritone sax and a bunch of other woodwind goodies all over this record and the last one, and he's just amazing. He's a wizard.
I want to talk about the influence of water in your life coming up in a hot minute, but we're almost 25 minutes in, and we are 2 songs in, and this is what it always ends up happening. We talk and we chat, but it's really all about the music and how the music makes us feel. Do you want to jump into something a little bit older, a little something new? Like, what are you feeling with us, Cat Ridgeway?
Well, we're talking water. What's a water song? Do I know a water song? Do I have a water song? I have like some nature songs. That's close enough, right?
You can't have nature without water.
That's what I'm saying. So this is kind of a funny story. I'll switch over to this banjo real quick.
Oh, Again, she's showing off her instruments on us really quickly. If you guys are just joining in, thank you so much for coming to the Jam Happy Hour. I hope you're sipping along with your favorite wine, water, whatever you would like to enjoy this evening, and just enjoying the music as well. If you do like the music or the wine, easy to find both ways, either through jamsellers.com, or you can hit up Cat Ridgeway Music on all of the socials and playlists, whatever music platform that you use. Listen in your home and just, support the things that you are enjoying. And Cat is multi-instrumental, so this is going to be a fun evening, as now we are into the banjo. So what are we coming up with next?
Yeah, so this is another tune that's going to be on the new record, and this song really makes me chuckle. It's called What If, and earlier this year, I went on tour with a dear friend of mine named Abe Partridge, and because he's a fine painter, he's incredible. Wow. Go check him out if you haven't heard his stuff or seen his work. He's nuts.
Thank you for the tip.
Yeah, but so we were on the road together, and because of all of his gallery exhibitions and stuff, every so often we would stop in at different art galleries, and at one of them, it was in LaGrange, Georgia. This very lovely couple owned this gallery, and they were like, hey, we have this artist in residence space we built on our property. It's this little cabin that we built ourselves, and it's on 5,000 acres of woodland, and we just have artists come in and make things. I know, right? What? And I was like, I have always heard of people doing stuff like this, but I've never had the opportunity to do something. So yeah, dude, sign me up. So I ended up, yeah. So I was like, can I come back in 3 weeks? They're like, sure. And I'm like, okay. So, I'm trying to make this record, and I'm trying to keep myself in a creative headspace. And so I brought some CBD gummies with me. And one day I was like, I guess I'll take two. Get really,
what could possibly happen?
Yeah, what could possibly go wrong? And after I did that, I was like, it's beautiful outside. I'm gonna go for a hike by myself in the woods. What? And yeah, there were trails. I was like, I'll follow a trail, it'll be good. And so I go out in the woods, and I knew exactly where it was until I didn't. Yeah. And then I was like, oh no. So I ended up having to call them and tell them I was lost. And
you're like, Google GPS.
I was actually terrified because I lost reception completely for a while, and then I found a cell tower, and I called, and Missy, the wife, she calls me, and she's like, hey, so do you see that little rusty bridge over there? I'm like, yeah. She's like, you see where the one slat's sticking up more than the other? So I was like, yeah. She goes, if that's to your back, you're walking the right way. So then I walk, and then I realized I was only 50 yards away from where I was supposed to be. And it was just the dumbest thing. But
two will do that.
Yeah. And so I'm like, oh my God, this was so stupid. But then I kind of got anxious after the fact, because I was like, man, that could have been bad. What if I actually got lost out here? That's a lot of land to look for somebody in. And,
5,000 acres.
Yeah. And so I kind of started spinning out, and I was like, man, if of course, after taking a couple gummies, I'm like, if parallel universes exist, I definitely died in the woods here in at least 5 of them. And so I was like, man, that's a wild thought. So then I ended up writing this song, and it's just ridiculous. And I think it is so funny now. But the song's called What If, and it really, it took such a turn in the studio too. I'm really excited for people to hear where it landed on the record, because playing it acoustically makes it feel very twangy, and it's very much not like that on the record. But anyway, here you go.
Well, here you go. What If? It's Cat Ridgeway and the Jam Happy Hour. Take it away.
If parallel universes exist, how many versions of this life have I lived? And how many other different people have I been? Would every choice I've ever made need its own universe to play out in? I've always just kind of believed if you can think it, it must be somewhere out there. I've always just kind of believed if you can think it, it must be somewhere, if not here. Woo! If everything I've ever thought really exists somewhere, oh my God, you won't believe the things I've seen or all the crazy ass things I've heard have occurred, or all the stupid ways I died, but that somehow I survived in this life. I'm alright. Sometimes I get carried away living my other lives. I'm terrified. But for each tragedy, there's yet another scene to rectify. So use your mind, but be wise. And I know it's dense. Really ask yourself, what if? Hey, welcome to a world of possibility. There's 1,000,001 and another 93, and I don't know how I got here, but I did, you did. Welcome to a world of possibility. There's 1,000,001 and another 93, and I don't know how I got here, but I did, you did, we did, we did. Hey, what if, 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 what if? Yeehaw.
The chaotic ending of finding that slat on the bridge that led you know that you were on your way home. I feel the whole story.
Right? Yeah. It was
I do.
It's so funny. It really does make me laugh because that song. It was actually okay. So when I was writing that, the gallery owners were staying in the cabin just off to the side of where I was staying, and the husband's name, his name's Wes. He was like, "Have you ever listened to the James Brown song Please?" And I was like, "I think I have heard that." And he's like, "Dude, he just says please
over and over.
Yeah,
over.
But it's like, but he says it with all these different inflections where it's like, please, 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 like, you know, and it's like coming at it from all these different angles.
Sidebar, not normally discussed. James Brown,
cool,
genius,
ridiculous.
Okay, back to you.
Scary though. I would not want to play in his band. I would be so terrified.
There's podcasts about it. No, hell no.
Yeah.
But musically, 100%. So, yes.
Ridiculous. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. But yeah, so we're talking about the song Please. And I was like, man, what other phrase could you come at with from a bunch of different emotional
what if
facets like that, you know? And then I started thinking about what if and how that is like your brain actually cannot distinguish anxiety from excitement. It's the same thing. It's just how you frame it. And so I ended up writing this song like the day after we had talked about the song Please. And I was like, this is crazy. The universe really does just play with you if you're willing to play back, you know?
If you're willing to listen.
Yeah.
Play back. Yeah. What if it's something that comes a lot in therapy, you know, you can always be like spinning out of control, thinking about, well, this and this and this and this and this. And like, well, what if?
Yeah.
What if it works out? Or what if that doesn't happen? Or what if this? And you're like, you have no answer for what if. You never have an answer for what if.
Yeah. And that's been something I've had to like really learn in the last couple of years because I spin out pretty hard. And clearly because that's where this whole song came from. But this song was kind of a pivot where it was like, okay, well, what if everything goes right? No one ever asks those questions. It's always the negative.
What if everything? Yeah. But it also leads me to another question. Cat Ridgeway here in the Jam Happy Hour tonight. What if? And obviously, you and I are in a sisterhood of anxiety and thought.
Yes.
How the heck is it that you go from that place into open mics, putting yourself out there, performing in front of people you don't know, honing your craft, even pre-pandemic, post-pandemic, the whole world was completely different. How did it feel to just kind of be out there, bare boned, just kind of doing this thing?
I mean, I look back to when I was a kid and I'm like, thank God I was brazen as a child, because I'm way too in my head now, I think, to get started with something. Like, I don't know. I mean, I feel like if I wanted to do something enough, I would make it happen. But it's like, there is something very visceral about a child experiencing art for the first time and expressing themselves for the first time. And I feel like that was definitely where I was approaching songwriting, because I never set out to become a songwriter. Like, I wasn't like, I'm going to write a song today. That's what I want to do. It was, I'm going to learn how to play guitar because my brother's doing it and I think it's cool. I don't know, literally, And then I'm like, I don't know how to play anything that I like the sound of. So, like, I don't know how to play anybody else's songs. So you just start noodling around, and then, I guess I kind of wrote a thing. And then I wrote a song around the thing. And then I showed it to my parents. They're like, wow, that doesn't suck. You should do that more. And I was like, wow.
I think it's that spark moment of not only did I spark myself with the fact that I have a talent to do something, but when somebody else sees that talent in you, be it a brother, be it a parent, be it a friend, they're like, oh, wait, I actually really like that. I mean, I think so many kids have those spark moments, but nobody's around to see them. Like, how lucky were you to be in an environment where they're like, yeah, go for it. Like, do it.
I mean, I think about this all the time, and to still be in the situation of having my family support everything. Cause again, my brother's in the band. And
literally. That's his kid behind you.
It is. It's just so wild. And then it's like, my parents have just, afforded me so many opportunities to chase this thing, because it does take a lot of time and energy and financial patience.
Don't teach my kid that statement if you don't mind.
Yeah, right. So, I mean, I've been very lucky to be able to devote all my time and energy to this, because I definitely am aware that there are a million very, very talented people who don't get the same opportunities, and so I'm definitely not going to waste mine.
Oh, Cat, I want to give you a hug, but I also promised we would talk about water, and I want to circle back around to that, because pre-show we were talking about we're bi-coastal tonight, we're West Coast, we're East Coast, we're doing all the things.
Yeah,
you surf.
I do.
Florida, beach, Buffett, like a whole lifestyle over here. Yeah. And then you ski and you snowboard and you have a residency coming up in Vail, which is the exact opposite of said, beach culture over here. Yeah. Is it just fun? Is it exciting? Do you just switch seasons in your head, or you're just like, hey, I'm down for whatever?
I mean, kind of all of the above, but I grew up going on ski trips every so often when my brother and I would go snowboarding and stuff, and I got decent at it.
East Coast or West Coast?
Both. It just depends. Like, when we were younger, we'd go out west, but like as we got older, we were just like, that's too much work and craziness. We're gonna go
ice slide.
Yeah. Oh my God. It is so much icier out east. Like, I almost got a concussion the last time I was out there. It's like scary. If you ski and snowboard or whatever on the East Coast, like, I commend you and you have my full respect.
All the things.
Yeah. But yeah, so I am really, really excited. Yeah, so I guess I'll make the formal announcement. I will be out in Colorado from December through March. I will be playing out in Vail. And
the whole season.
The whole season, yeah. It's going to be a great time, and I will be snowboarding on my off days.
I will
And
come see you. I
yeah,
love that. I think it's such a cool thing to be in nature like that and get to do what you love and
mhm.
share what you love. And also being, obviously we're in Orlando. So, for this broadcast, you and I, tourism. But
Yeah,
people come through Vail from all over the world and they're going to experience your music.
yeah.
Do you stop and think about that?
I do. It is totally not lost on me, because I mean, I've been fortunate enough to be traveling quite a bit in the last couple of years, playing songs for tons of people in tons of new places, and it is such a beautiful experience and such an interesting exchange that happens. And just I'm really excited to get to do it so many days a week out there. I get to, yeah, it's just transient,
Well, it's not that far from Napa. Have you ever popped over to Napa, California?
I have not, but oh my God, I would love to. Like, I'm such a wino. It's ridiculous.
Well, now you're in the Jam Cellars Jam Happy Hour family.
Yeah.
And obviously, as you can see behind me, we have this lovely room. Yes, I mean, Napa's kind of the same way. It's like it's a very interesting place of obviously wine lovers, but nature lovers, healthy people, multifaceted people.
Yeah.
But live music just carries different there. And I'm sure you'll see that in Vail, you'll see it in Florida, you'll see it like everywhere you go on tour. And I do want to talk about tour.
Yeah.
But Napa is just something absolutely spectacular and beautiful on its own too. Let's talk tour after a song.
Yeah.
Because you're literally going on the road tomorrow.
Yeah, I am actually. Yeah, I got to pack.
You still got to pack after this.
Oh my God, I'm the worst procrastinator ever. But I was like,
God bless
I'll
you.
do it afterward. It's fine.
So when you think about packing and when you think about your playlist, and we want to talk about the amazing women that you're going on the road with, like all the good things.
Yeah.
What is the jump off song for your super cool tour that you've got coming up starting tomorrow?
Well, I mean, in the spirit of Colorado, I feel like I got to play you the song Aspen. This
is from the 2015. This is from the OG release. So this is back in the day. And I love the fact that it still holds up even to this day, 2023. Here we are all these years later.
I can't believe that, actually. It's
weird. Wild, isn't it?
It is. I mean, I wrote this song. I started writing this when I was like in high school, like end of college or end of high school, beginning of college. No, I mean, I'm not like, that's not what I meant. Oh my God. I just can't believe that there's a song that is from that era of my life that still means something to people. Like, that's so crazy. It's probably the song people yell at me the most, which is also hilarious to me because it is by far the folkiest thing I've ever released in my life, and I feel like it's a bit of an outlier in that way. But like, cool, if that's what you guys want to hear, I'll play it as long as
folk is in.
Yeah.
All right, so this is Aspen. It is from way back in 2015, the passenger seat, her very first release here in the Gem Happy Hour. It is Cat Ridgeway, and she's busting out the harmonica.
I got off the train somewhere in Aspen, jumped on out, miles left to go. You could call it reckless abandon, but I'm done only enjoying her through windows. Somewhere in Aspen, dirt at my feet. Somewhere in Aspen, happily skin my knees. I've been walking around with my thumb out, hoping someone would pick me up. No idea where I'll go now, but I'm glad because trains don't wander enough. Somewhere in Aspen, dirt in my feet. Somewhere in Aspen, happily skin my knees. Come into my aimless heart, Lord, lift me up. Ooh, I have no reason to write you off now. Ooh, I can run, but I can't run from myself. Little left worth running from, so I guess it's for my health. I said, hey, oh, now, don't you wait. I'm coming round. I said, hey, oh, now, don't you wait. I'm coming round. Hey, whoa, now, don't you wait. I'm coming round. I said, hey, whoa, now, don't you wait. I'm getting ground now. Ooh, ooh, ooh. play dead. Somewhere I spend, dirt hit my feet. Somewhere I spend, happily skin my knees.
I got to tell you, the looping is such a fun new thing. That you like most of us have seen Ed Sheeran do, but it's not something that you see a lot of women do. And to be on the forefront of something like that, like how cool is that? And are you taking it on tour?
I sure am.
Yes. So tell us about the tour. It starts tomorrow.
Yes.
Some of our favorites, by the way.
Yeah. So this coming weekend, I'll be up in Georgia and I will be at the Wire and Wood Songwriters Festival. So you can catch me on Friday at the Coalition. What is it? Coalition Bar, I think is what it's called. And then I'll be at the Hamilton stage on Saturday with my brother. We'll be playing as a duo. That's going to be a ton of fun. Then Sunday, I'll be over at Serenity Cellars, which is an awesome winery. And it'll be good to be back there. I just did a winery run like a month or two ago. So it'll be cool to be back. And then from there, I will link up with my buddy, Lauren Calv, and my other buddy, Katerina. And the three of us are going to be hitting the road up the East Coast in support of Lauren's new record, Shift. And it's going to be awesome. We're going to be coming through DC, Columbia, Maryland, Atlanta, Nashville, Birmingham.
Some really great towns, some really great venues, obviously some incredibly talented, amazing women. I invite everybody to go back and check out Lauren's Jam Happy Hour as well as Katerina's. We're so happy to have you join our family. And this fun little hour where we just kind of like hang out and chat and chill and sip some wine and just kind of get to know you a little bit better. The tour, I think, is going to be fantastic post-tour. You're going to be finishing up on the new album.
Mm-hmm.
Are you going to get any vacation time whatsoever? Like, do you get to chill at all?
I mean, I get 2 days off a week when I'm out in Vail, so that's good enough for me. Just to be working out there is fine.
Kat's going to be in the mountains, getting her feet dirty and walking around and working on new music. What is the best way that we can follow along with you on the tour, on the residency in Vail, on all the fun things, the new album coming up? Tell us.
Yeah, definitely. All the social media. I'm on Instagram, Facebook. I'm gonna start getting more involved on TikTok. I need to
Don't lie. Do it. None of us want to do it. It's fine.
I know, right?
It's okay. It's just another one.
I know it's so fun. I'm like long time lurker, first time caller, but I love to watch it, but it's a lot of work, I think, to get the videos to look good. But whatever, I'll be on TikTok definitely for this new record cycle. But yeah, you can also just check out my website. Everything's kind of in a hub there. It's just catridgeway.com, and it's cat with a C.
Well, thank you so much for being a part of the Jam Happy Hour. It sounds like a lot of work in your future, and you're going to need some coffee.
Oh, I am. Yeah. So I guess we'll announce that now too, huh?
Oh, we should, because I think this is pretty cool. I love female entrepreneurship and I love just going out and doing things. And the fact that you're doing this, I love it. So please tell everybody about your coffee.
Yeah, I am super, super excited. I am going to be starting my own coffee company. It's going to be called Jitter Roasters. And and we'll start having signature roasts at the merch table. So if you've been following me for a while, you know I have a very intensely obsessive love for coffee. And I'm really, really excited. I'm working with some really great folks to make this all come together, and the coffee tastes amazing. I did a blind tasting last week, and it's going to be very good. I'm really excited. Yeah, we got a Guatemalan.
If you had to rank like music and coffee and wine, travel, because obviously you like travel.
Ooh.
The 4, if you had to put them in that Price is Right range.
Oh man,
music's number 1, clearly.
I mean, yeah, I think it would have to be. I honestly feel like coffee and travel are like, can they tie for 2? God,
well, they go hand in hand, because if you try to travel without coffee, you're sunk.
Great.
Or wine, actually, all 3.
Yeah, honestly, I feel like it's just music, and then the rest is just. If you want to make me happy, bring me coffee or wine,
or take me on a trip.
Yeah, for sure.
Well, take us on one last musical trip. We've got time for one more song. What would you like to wrap up the Gem Happy Hour with, Cat Ridgeway?
I feel like it feels right to go out on the duet I put out with my buddy Sean Mullins. So I'm gonna switch back to the guitar.
Just that guy.
That good old boy.
If that name didn't ring a bell, look it up, and you're gonna get bombarded with a massive hit song from the late 90s called Lullaby. And you can thank me later. But wow. Okay. All right. So now I'm in.
Yeah, man. Sean and I, Sean has just been such a.
How did you team up with Sean?
Playing different songwriters festivals, namely 30A, that's down here in Florida in the Panhandle.
Yes.
Yeah, a couple years ago, he was coming through Tampa right after playing 30A, and I was like, oh, there's no support. So I reached out and I was like, hey, I played 30A a couple times, and would you guys be open to having an opening act?
Bold, and I like it.
Yeah, and they were just like, sure. And I was like, cool, see you there. So I was running super late getting into artist check-in at 30A that year, like, which is very
it's bonkers. It is a massive beach festival for those who aren't familiar with it. So getting in and out is very difficult.
It's a task for sure. And I was running, like hours behind. And I get there and I was like, man, I was really hoping maybe I'd be able to run into Sean at check-in or something. And lo and behold, I get there like 4 hours late, and he's just sitting there signing the stack of posters, and I'm like, oh my god. So I go sit down next to him because I had to sign them as well. They make everybody sign them at check-in and stuff. So I sat down next to him and I was like, hey, my name's Kat. And he goes, oh, you're opening in Tampa in a couple weeks. And I was like, oh my god, that's really cool that you personally know that. And he was like, yeah, I'm really excited for that. And we just kind of hit it off. And after the Tampa show, he invited me to come out to Georgia and open a couple of his birthday shows that he does every year. And then during lockdown, we ended up co-writing this song over FaceTime. And it's the first one I had break into the top 100 on AAA. So thanks, Sean.
And that's a tricky format. That's a big deal.
Oh man, I was really excited. You never know what to expect. I've learned not to expect anything, but I felt like this song was special as soon as we started writing it. So obviously I do not have Sean or the horn section with me today, but I will give you both. We
have wine, we're good.
Yeah. I was gonna say, just drink a little more of that and we'll be golden.
Take it away, Cat Ridgeway.
Here we go.
Go, and I don't want to leave. Everything you do, everything you say, everything you think, it don't even really matter to me. You won't hear my side, you just disagree. You don't want to know, you don't want to see. Every time I try, you only run away from me. So why don't you give me love, give me love, give me love? I'll try to give you love, give you love, give you love. Oh, here's Sean. I wish you wouldn't go. Things would be okay. Everything I do, everything I think, everything I say seems to make you want to go your own way. Everything we share and all the things we knew. I don't know a way to make you want to stay. What else can I do? I just really want to see this thing through. So why don't you give me love, give me love, give me love. I'll try to give you love, give you love, give you love. Oh, but you know, darling, you know I want you and you alone. Oh, please, don't go and make me leave. But you know, darling, you know my love for you is only grown. Please don't give up on me. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Oh, no, no. Baby, baby, please. Oh, baby, baby, please. No.
As I told you before, the hour is not long enough. I have so many questions. I want to discuss the human version of your trombone, which is amazing.
Thank you.
The song is fantastic. The tour is coming up. You guys, if you enjoyed the music, please go out and support if she's coming near you. Follow along on our other socials. We didn't discuss our mutual love of the Beastie Boys. We have so much to get into. Will you come back? Will you do this again?
Oh my God, of course.
Yay!
Duh. Is that even a question?
Preferably here in Napa at Jam Cellars. We would love to have you in our room. And in the meantime, look forward to following this next year for you between the tour and the new album and everything that's coming out. It seems like it's very exciting. So cheers to you, Cat Ridgeway. Cheers to everybody for joining us here in the happy hour. Finally, she can drink her wine. Yes. Please follow and like in your playlist. It goes so far. It means so much. And thank you for joining us here in the Gym Happy Hour. Good night, everybody. Cheers.
Cheers.